My name is Sergio Cofre. I'm a PhD candidate at UMD in reliability engineering. And this video, I'm going to cover the basics of Gitlab, especially for the uninitiated. And I'm going to try to let you know what are the main things you need to look at and the main things you should know before start developing questions. And yeah, I hope this is helpful. So I'm going to share my screen. And obviously, the first thing we need to do is to go to the Gitlab website from UMD, so code.umd.edu. And the first thing we see, the main website, is going to be the summary of the repository. So mainly the last commit that was made to any of the issues. We're going to have the folders and also a little README with instructions depending on how it was set up, okay? So the main things you need to focus on here are going to be on the left bar, mainly issues and merge requests. In our case, we didn't really work with merge requests because of how dynamic the workflow was. But you can do it if you choose to, and depending on the professionals as well. But the main focus of this video is going to go into issues. Okay, so issues are created for each of the questions that are developed for any homework or test during the course. So for instance, if we have homework 2 and homework 2 has 8 questions, we're going to have 8 separate issues for each of those questions. Okay. So an issues list is going to show you all the current issues, or actually all the issues ever created in for this repository, and I believe they are sorted by last modified or by last created, one of the two. But the main thing is that here you can see everything. Okay, and if you click on issues, it's going to take you to list by default. But you also have other options that we're going to cover later on the video. Okay. So on list, you can go up here and click new issues, sorry. And you can create your own template to create issues, or you can just do it from scratch. So basically, there are 3 essential things you need to create an issue. Main one is title. The second one is the description. And the third one are the labels and tags associated to it. So let's create an issue called tutorial. A tutorial video, because example, that's what we're doing. And let's not choose any template because that's going to depend on what you have. But let's say this is an example of the for the tutorial. Yeah. So here we can assign people. So I'm going to assign myself. That means that I'm going to be in charge of developing this particular issue. And usually you should assign a milestone to the issue to a milestone, right? So in this case, we're doing the closeout of the semester. And the idea is that, again, if we go to the example of the homework 2, if I'm developing homework 2, I want to have a milestone called deploy homework 2, okay? And that milestone is going to have issues associated to it. I'm going to show you what I mean with it by this later, okay? And we can also put labels on it. So let's do, so usually if you're creating a new issue, it's going to be the go-to label will be to do, okay? Again, this is not a default. You need to create those labels. I can show you how to do that as well. But depending on the workflow, usually you try to label with the starting step, in this case, to do. So you just click create an issue, and it's just gonna send you straight to the new issue created. So you can see here that we have the description that we gave. If you have a template, obviously you get more instructions that are usually easier to follow, but that's out of the scope of this video. But here you can see on the right, you have a lot of information about this issue. So who's assigned to it, if it doesn't have an epic or not, what milestone is the issue associated to, what labels is it tagged on, and so on. So to edit any of these, you can actually click here on the edit button for each of this of just these categories, or you can actually comment here and use shortcuts. So to use a shortcut, you can do / and then, for instance, labels. So the cool thing is that it shows you like the possible shortcuts that you can use. So let's click on labels, and then it like allows you to choose one of the labels that you have. Again, you can create these labels. Okay, so let's tag doing and then close this. Okay, I'm sorry, not close, but comment. So if I refresh my screen, if I refresh the website, now you can see here on the right that labels is actually doing and to do, right? So if I want to remove to do, I can actually go here and do unlabel, and again to do. And the cool thing is that it always shows you what labels are tagged to this issue, not all of the possible ones. Okay, so that's actually very cool. You can do this, or you can just go to the right and just click the little X here, and it's gonna remove it. Okay, so obviously for removing, that's an easier way, but you'll see that as time passes, you get used to just use the shortcuts. So if you wanted to create a label, I'm guessing there are like several ways you can do it. You can actually go here to the left and click labels and create one, but you can also go here and edit, and you can create a project label. And we could have also done this when we created the issue. Okay, so every time you get the drop down for the labels, there's going to be one that create project label, and same for the milestones. Okay. Okay, so this is all good, but so how do you track this? Okay, so let's say we are developing 2 homeworks at the same time, and each homework has 5 prompts. So how do you know who is doing what, and more importantly, what issues are assigned to you? So that's what boards are for. So if you click on boards, if you click on boards, I created this little board here for this tutorial. So basically, literally, I went here on the drop-down list, and I click create board. So we can actually do that right now. So let's go with tutorial 2. I'm going to create this board, and you're going to see that it's going to look exactly like this, okay? Because this is the default. So on the left, you're going to have a list called open, and on the right, it's going to be closed. So basically, we're looking at all the possible issues that I have created in this project. So all the closed issues, all the open issues, okay? So the idea is that in boards, if you see on the drop down, we have different names, right? So development for us is actually all the issues with all the labels, but also we have specific boards for each of the TAs or each of the developers, pretty much. So in my case, this is my board, and you can see here that this is the assignee, which is me, right? So in this board, only I appear, only the issues that are associated to me or assigned to me are shown, okay? So if we want to do that, we can go back to our tutorial board, and we can actually create a list. So let's say, so how do you want to divide this list? So let's do by label, and let's put the doing label here, excuse me. So you can add the board, and now you can see here, and you can actually move this around. Well, usually open, it goes to the left and close to the right. But if we added a new one, let's say one with the to-do label, we can actually swap these two, right? We can put them in whatever order. We just cannot put it on the left to open, because that's like the very first step, and close this for last. Yeah, so the idea here is that as you see here, I see some issues that are assigned to another TA, which is Patanam, and another one who's Joseph, and myself. So how do I do it so I can have my own board, and I don't have all these issues that do not correspond to me? So that's actually very easy. Just go to edit board, and here on assignee, you just edit, and you can add your name or whoever name you want to create a board for. So I'm going to save changes. I'm going to see that the issues are going to disappear, and only the ones that I'm tagged on are going to still be here, okay? So this is actually very useful, because here I know where my issues are, in which label they are, so I can easily address them. And I can also go to somebody else's and see where they are at with their own work. And that also helps me to know, okay, I should expect this workflow or this workload in the future, or maybe they need some help, and so on. Okay. So, and that's it. And obviously, again, you can delete boards just as easily as we create them. So you just go down here and delete the board. You need to realize that a board does not have any influence on the issues themselves. So if you delete a board, it's not like you're gonna delete issues or milestones or anything like that. It's just like, this is just for to control the workflow. All right. So, so I mentioned milestones before. And this is really important because, as I said, ideally each issue should be assigned to a milestone. Why is that? Because that's the easy way to look at them. So you can see here, I can see all, this is a milestone for the close-up of the exam, sorry, for the preparation deployment of the final exam. So you can see here that we have all the issues that are associated to it, and we see that still there are 3 issues going on. Okay, and you have a progress curve here. So this helps you to know so how far ahead you are from the deadline, and that's that information is to the right. And again, this is just like one way to monitor what's going on. So basically, milestones and boards are everything that you're gonna need to follow that workflow. So last one thing is that you should know, I mean, this might be pretty obvious for someone that has been developing questions before, especially in GitLab, but I didn't know at the beginning, is that this has nothing to do with PrairieLearn itself. So you can create issues, you can move things around here, but that the development itself, the question, is not associated to GitLab. So the only thing that's going to be associated to this is when you push and pull from the repository using Git. But that's going to be, we're going to cover that in a different video. Okay. So, so that being said, I hope this video was helpful, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.